Here are 5 great tips that no one told me, which when I started doing them, immediately improved my running. By employing these, I've taken more than 3 minutes off my 5k time, 4 minutes off my 10k, and significantly improved my overall running fitness. The big secret is, I employed these 5 tips during the winter, a time when for many of us the running dramatically reduces because it's so tough to stay focused and motivated to train through relentless cold, dark, and wet weather. In the past, my training used to take a nosedive at winter, with my weekly mileage nearly halving. But once I began doing these things, I could continue pushing through the winter months, thus layering weeks of important quality running, which in turn has significantly improved my times. To put it frankly, the version of me who emerges into spring each year, having maintained training through the winter, can run circles around the version who didn't. So let's give ourselves that springboard. And if you'd rather not listen to a strange bearded man talking on a video, I've put these useful points plus more into a completely free cheat sheet, which you can download now from the JOG ON website. I'll leave a link to it in the video description. Otherwise, let's dive in. Maximize the day. For me, the hardest part of winter running was not actually the weather, but the lack of daylight hours. As an example, here in the UK, the longest summer day gives you over 16 hours of light, but for the shortest in winter, it drops to under 8 hours. It's a dramatic swing. So the question must be asked, how do we make the most of the short winter daylight we do have? Many of us work full time, but as some roles have become more flexible, it's worth asking yourself, could you run on a lunch break? Are there any days you work from home to block out a short period to fit a run in? Could you be doing more on a weekend? Remember, it doesn't need to be long. 20 to 30 minutes can do a lot. For many of us, we are statistically more likely to go for that run if it's within daylight hours. We can see where we're going, we feel safer, and generally more energized. Plus, as a bonus, a run in the late morning or on a lunch break means we haven't accrued the fatigue of a working day, so we're likely to feel fresher and therefore get a higher quality, more enjoyable run in. The fatigue of a working day increases the chance of that post-work run not happening. But if you still can't fit the run into daylight hours, these next few tips, particularly number 5, helped me a lot. Light the way. My relationship to running outside of daylight hours, in the dark, was significantly improved when I finally invested in a high-quality head torch. A powerful light can totally transform your feelings towards winter running. When reading reviews, personally I found it helpful to consider these 4 factors: the weight, the power, battery or rechargeable, and finally, comfort. I noticed a pattern that the cheaper head torches, while often marketed attractively, when put to the test, didn't offer nearly enough brightness to truly light the way for effective running. Once you witness a proper running head torch, it really can be a game changer. All of a sudden, I got a good head torch and I was able to explore routes and distances that were previously just unavailable to me during winter. It opened new possibilities for my training. Personally, I found that when a head torch battery pack was sat at the back of my head, it was a lot more comfortable. But that was just me. See what you think for yourself. Stay together. When I look back and compare periods of my running done mostly solo versus scheduling some runs with others, it is genuinely hard to overstate the improvements in both the quantity and quality of my winter training when I linked up with other runners. I found that running with people offers 3 big benefits: safety, social interaction, and accountability. I'll focus on the third because it's often less discussed. The power of joining a club, local group, or even just running with a friend to get you out the door and moving your feet is hugely underappreciated. Many of you currently in a club will be able to relate to this. I've run sessions with a group I wouldn't dream of doing by myself on a cold, dark night. People create accountability. But it is a balance. Only you will know how much social interaction is right for you during the week. For many people, 1 group run per week is enough. But I would say, try not to make excuses. Do be brave, as joining a group is generally a lot less scary than it may seem. Do some research and give it a go. Or come along to a future JOG ON meetup and meet some super friendly, inclusive people in bright orange. Stay focused. I've noticed a big change to my focus when I have a winter race booked, as it gave me that extra boost in motivation and discipline to get the necessary training in. It gave me a reason to be out there in the cold when frankly, I just wanted to sit down and eat biscuits. Taking time to really think about what I wanted to get from my running provided a much needed sense of clarity. Even better, write it down. I would like to achieve these 3 things from my running this winter. Then set yourself realistic training to get there. Much of the training structure I used has been put into effective, detailed, and yet easy to understand plans. Have a look at them on the JOG ON website. They range from 5k up to half marathon, and I might be biased, but they're very good. Plan ahead. I used to make this mistake with my running. When heading back from a variety of different jobs in the past, I'd have a run planned for that evening, get in through the door tired and just glad to be out the cold, and guess what? Many times, the run just wouldn't happen. So a trick I learned was when a lunch break run just isn't an option, I would still take my running gear to work and then stop on the way back to do the run. It was an amazing way of getting the run in before that moment of getting in through the door when our motivation levels tend to suddenly plummet and we come up with every excuse about why we don't need to go for that run. You can also feel comfortable on the run with some fantastic winter running gear, from electric orange long sleeve tops to lightweight neck gaiters. Go check it all out at the Jog On shop at thisisjogon.com. Remember, in a parallel universe, there is a version of you getting very few runs in this winter. Download the cheat sheet, follow these tips, and this version of you will be running circles around them come spring. I'm Harry Morgan. Stay safe out there, go for that winter run, and this is Jog On.